Thousands of protesters in Bahrain have returned to the streets to mark the third anniversary of the uprising. Security forces fought demonstrators in the capital as they headed for Pearl Roundabout, the focus of the unrest back in 2011. The fighting came a day after a bomb blast killed a policeman and injured 3 others. The government managed to quell the 2011 protests with the help of Saudi Arabia. Since then, people from the majority Shia community have been rallying against the ruling Sunni family. Well, Sheikh Maytham Al Salman is the head of the Religious Freedom Unit at the Bahrain Observatory for Human Rights and joins us now from the capital, Manama. Thanks very much for talking to us. First of all, just talk us through what happened with these protests today and the security response.
Well, what we had today was hundreds of thousands. Some claimed there were 300,000, others claimed there were 250,000. But the majority of observers claimed there were at least 200,000 marchers who marked the anniversary of the 14th of February of 2011, and that's when Bahrainis went down to the streets to call for a true transformation towards democracy through establishing a constitutional monarchy whereby the people elect the government rather than having an appointed government in Bahrain. What happened today resembles a clear indicator that the people of Bahrain will remain persistent to see that democratic transformation happen. And it was very peaceful in its nature. There was no violence associated whatsoever with the demonstration. There were some events which took place after the demonstration. However, in general, the demonstration was completely peaceful.
Okay, because we do see pictures of young people throwing stones, of tear gas. I mean, it's looking, in pockets at least, pretty violent. So who's responsible for those?
Well, in general, when it comes to the view of violence among social leaders, amongst civil society organizations, and amongst the democratic political movement in Bahrain, in general, violence is denounced, unacceptable by all parties and from any faction. In fact, the democratic movement has signed a declaration of non-violence, which clearly states that violence should never be a mean to achieve democracy in Bahrain.
Okay, but clearly the government will be focusing, sorry to interrupt you, because clearly the government will be focusing on those incidents of violence. I mean, it's already focusing very heavily on the policeman who got killed in yesterday's bomb attack. So how does this upset the dialogue that is trying to take place between elements of the government and elements of the opposition?
First of all, I would like to reinforce that any form of violence is denounced by the majority of civil society organizations and the political movement and even religious leaders. The most influential Shia religious leader in Bahrain is Ayatollah Sheikh Isa Ahmed Qasim, who not only disagrees with violence, but regards all forms of violence as forbidden in his Islamic fatwas. So it's very clear that violence is denounced socially by the majority of Bahrainis. However, I believe that many factions and many parties within the government and within certain pockets do not want to see a democratic, peaceful transformation in Bahrain. In fact, they do not want to see dialogue move forward. And I believe if we want dialogue to succeed in Bahrain, it's very important to create the groundwork which will guarantee success in that dialogue.
Okay.
The government should take the first step towards stopping all human rights violations, and there are more than 3,000 prisoners of conscience in Bahrain, according to Human Rights Watch, according to Amnesty International, and according to reputable international human rights bodies. So it's very important for the government to free those prisoners of conscience, to stop human rights violations, and to put an immediate stop to incitement of sectarian hatred.
Okay, Sheikh Maytham Al Salman, I'm afraid we are going to have to stop there, but thank you very much for joining us to share your views.
Thank you.
Now,